I would like to welcome all members and guests to the April 14th, 2026 Council and Committee meeting. I will remind everyone that our meetings are web streamed and televised. Please ensure that your phones are in silent mode. For those attending virtually, please mute yourself when not speaking. When called upon to speak, please turn on your camera and unmute yourself. For staff in attendance, please use the Microsoft Teams raise hand feature to be called upon and remove it after speaking. With that, I call the April 14th, 2026 Council and Committee meeting to order. All members of the committee are present except for the mayor, and I believe Duthie's online there. Councillor, how's it going? I'm saying how's it going to a floating head. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Okay, seeing none. Committee has the agenda before them. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Councillor Columbus, seconded by Councillor Brunton. All those in favor? Very good. We have no early closed session items. We do have 13 consent items today. Councillor Michele has requested to pull items 4.1 and 4.11, and I have asked to pull 4.12. So what we'll do is we have a motion to receive consent items 4.2 through 4.10 and 4.13 as information. Moved by Councillor Huffman, seconded by Councillor Van Andrieschie. All those in favor? All right, so we are going to, oh, that's carried. So Councillor Michele, please take it away on 4.1.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I just pulled the speed requirement bylaw for just a quick comment to extend some commendation to staff for recognizing some of these locations and the way in which they have managed, especially on Highway 59 and Front Road, just heading into Long Point. There has long been a request by residents to have some kind of a transitionary speed zone limit there. And I really think staff has done an excellent job of deciding and determining that there was actually a missing sign there, and also to have a transition to a 70-kilometer zone heading into a 50. So just want to mention a good job by staff. Thank you.
Very good. May I have a motion to receive consent item 4.1 as information? Councillor Michele, seconded by Councillor Huffman. All those in favor? That is carried. Councillor Michele again, 4.11.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. Just want to make a couple of comments about the Amplify Norfolk wrap-up. As the report suggests, it was a very huge success with a few minor challenges. But I really think that, again, you know, if we think about all of the good hard work that our staff, the sponsors of these events, the volunteers who worked at them, the chambers of commerce in the various locations who had a role to play, I really think that this was a tremendous success. Obviously brought lots of income to the local economies where they were. And I know that you know, we can't put every single event in a staff report, but I just did want to just mention that the Sand Pines concert series in Port Rowan was a huge success. Big names also there: Stephen Page, April Wine, and Trooper, among many others. So very nice to see the economic impact that the report indicates, the amount of activity generated by the grant money that Norfolk County provided those events with, and I'm looking forward now to, without that seed money that those organizations provided, I have just learned that Honeymoon Suite will be coming to Port Rowan in the summer. So thank you very much to staff and to all those people involved.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor Michelli. Does anyone else want to speak to Amplify Norfolk while it's on the table? Councillor Huffman, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, I just want to tag on to what Councillor Michelli said. I attended several of the events and had a wonderful time, and it brought some zoom back into Norfolk. I can't think of the word I want. Just with the some of the names that we had with the bands and the turnout, I know there were some growing pains, but I think we managed those really well, and looking forward to maybe something more like this. So anyways, I loved it.
Great, thank you. Anyone else want to comment on Amplify Norfolk? Okay, seeing none, then can I get a motion to receive 4.11 as information? Councillor Michelli, seconded by Councillor Huffman. All those in favor? Carried. And I'm going to pass the chair now, if you don't mind, over to Councillor Huffman. Are you okay with that there? Well, I'm going to discuss 4.12. Okay. So that we've done that.
I don't have any speaking notes. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, so 4.12 is the tax policy, and I talked about it last year, and I would like to talk about it again. And I want to talk again about the ratios and the rates that we charge. In light of just some of the other decisions that we've made, I'd like to review that policy and maybe make a change. So at this table, we've talked about affordability a lot. We've talked about, things lowering ramp fees. We've talked about whether late fees on bills should be $5 or $10. We canceled the recycling, not canceled, but we stopped paying for recycling for businesses because that was going to save money for taxpayers, and that equaled to be about 95 cents per household. We didn't move during the rate budget, we had an opportunity to decrease that by ending the property taxes on water and wastewater facilities. We didn't do that. So where I'm at is I'm looking at these rates and the impact of the reduced farm tax rate and the impact it has on all other property taxpayers. Essentially, if we're going to end recycling for 95 cents per household, I'm looking at a savings of $19 per household on that and on other commercial and industrial properties. So I'm going to make a motion that we put the farm tax back to the 0.25 as we go, instead of the 0.23, as we pass this tax policy, because again, it puts the savings to every other class of property holders. So with that, I'm going to make that motion, and hopefully we'll get some seconder and have some discussion about it. So I don't know how you want to exactly word that, but I guess what I want to do is essentially end the discounted tax rate of 0.23, put it back to 0.25, and we'll see if there's any seconders for that. Councillor Van Passen. Seconding? Oh, sorry. Or no, we can get his. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Right. Sorry. I see you now.
Didn't want to relinquish the chair.
So sorry.
It's okay. Councillor Van Passen.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I'm glad somebody brought this up because I thought I was the only one concerned about this. First, I want to review a little bit on farm taxes. The residential portion, it pays exactly the same amount as any other residential portion. So, and the province has recognized in their great wisdom that most of the services municipalities provide are to the people who live in those residential portions, and that's why the farms pay the same as everybody else. And there's very little service that is supplied to vacant farmland, and that's why the province has set a maximum cap of 25% of the residential rate on that vacant farmland that gets no service. If you go back to the history of Norfolk County since 2001, every time there's been a reassessment, the reassessment on the farmland has gone up disproportionately to the rest of them. Last time, I think it was 65% the average increase, while the residential went up by about 25-30%. 2012, it was over almost 70%, while the residential went up 20 or 30%. So when you look back at 2001, when Norfolk County was created, the share of the pie that was being paid by the farmland is actually, we're paying more on the farmland now than we were then, because believe it or not, the number of houses has increased considerably in 25 years, but the actual farmland has not increased, and it's probably gone down because some of the houses were built on some of that farmland. And I know I've done the calculation before to get back to that level of the share of the pie where everybody pays their fair share. To get the farmland category back to what it was in 2001 when the county was created, we should be reducing that number to 0.16, not to like we did drop it from 25 down to 23, but it should be down to 16 to make it back the same as what the share of the pie was originally, what everybody thought was fair at that time. And so if we'd like to make some changes to make it back what it used to be and in that same level of fairness that we always talk about, I'd be happy to support a reduction below the 23, but I'm not going to support an increase in it that, it's already way out of whack from what it should be. So I won't be supporting any concept of increasing this rate.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion on the floor, but we need to have, is there a seconder for this motion? And seeing none, that motion has been defeated.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And may I have a motion to receive consent item 4.4 as information? Moved by Councillor Columbus, seconded by Councillor Van Passen. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. And I will return the chair to Deputy Mayor Veery.
Okay, thanks. We have two deputations today. Number one is David Judd. If you can come on up. Okay, David, you have 5 minutes. Thanks for being here. I will let you know when you have 1 minute left.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is David Judd, and I've covered this council for the Port Dover Maple Leafs since 2012. This afternoon, I asked council to authorize the media to take photos and video recordings at council meetings. This is not new. I'm not asking for something we haven't had. We've had it for a long time, and it's worked well. So I don't know why suddenly it's been changed. Now, this request is supported not only by myself, but Paul Morris, editor and publisher of the Port Dover Maple Leaf, J.P. Antonacci, who covers council for the Hamilton Spectator, Michelle Ruby, who covers for the Simcoe Reformer, Chris Abbott, editor of the Simcoe Advocate, and Matt LeBlanc, news reporter and anchor at MyFM. So it's not just me asking, it's all the reporters. Now, sometimes reporters are called media partners, and I think that's accurate. As long as I can remember, which is a long time, the media and council have cooperated to inform the public about what's happening at county council and why. The media and the council each have done their bit. Reporters are committed to making their stories as accurate, fair, and unbiased as they can be. And council and staff have provided the information we need, and they've taken time to answer our questions. As part of this partnership, the media have been free to record what they hear and see to give a complete account of what happens at the meeting. But recently, our job became more difficult. The county clerk began enforcing the code of conduct ban on taking photos and videos during council meetings. Now, I don't blame the clerk because that's what the procedural bylaw says, and it was passed 3 years ago. And I understand there are reasons for wanting a tool in the code of conduct to prevent bad actors from using photography and video recordings to intimidate, manipulate, or embarrass people at meetings. I understand that. But the reporters aren't the bad actors. We're partners with you, helping to inform the public. A 2022 email to me from former clerk Teresa Olson acknowledged this. She said the ban was not meant to apply to the media. The plan was to exempt the media through a companion policy. Unfortunately, that didn't get done. But better late than never. It's time to move forward with a companion policy so reporters can continue to do their best work. Now, if a counselor asked me, I personally have some ideas of what a companion policy might say. But in conclusion, council is blessed with an excellent group of reporters. They have responsibly taken photos for years, and I think they've earned your trust. I respectfully ask council to direct staff to bring forward a companion policy to the Code of Conduct, authorizing the media to take photos and videos during council meetings. This concludes my deputation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Excellent, David. Thank you so much for being here. Any questions for Mr. Judd? Councillor Van Passen.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Over the years, we've had requests from individual media members, such as yourself, to waive the procedural bylaw for a particular meeting to get pictures. And do you have any other suggestions on a better way to make that work?
Well, actually, I do. I'm glad you asked that. I think, and this is just myself, I haven't run this by all the other reports, just my own thoughts on this, but I think the clerk's department could put together a list of recognized or accredited reporters, and they would have a general authorization to take pictures or video recordings at every meeting. I think that would be a better system than having a case-by-case. Every time there's a meeting, I have to ask for permission to take a picture of this certain person or whatever. It just makes a lot busy work for the clerk's department. And also, I don't always know what's going to happen at meetings. Like at public hearings, the chair always says, is there anyone here who wants to speak? I don't know who they are going to be. How can I ask for permission to take their picture? So that doesn't really work. So it'd be a general authorization for what I would call the accredited or recognized reporters. There would be, of course, limitation that when we're taking our pictures or videos and we're not disrupting anything. That goes without saying. So there'd be no flash photography. You might wonder, how would you recognize who these reporters are that get this authorization? Well, first, you know who the usual suspects are who cover the council now. I think you could immediately start with them and just say they can have their permission again. And if there are any new reporters come along, say the editor of the Reformer says so-and-so is now going to start covering the council, well, that should be enough for that. I think you get into a bit of a area when you have brand new reporters, especially for internet pages, that kind of thing. You don't know who these people are. How could you tell whether they're responsible enough? Well, there are ways to do that. And I think one of them would be they can give samples of stories they've written. You can ask them, are you paid to be here? You can also ask that they be on a recognized website. What I'm thinking of here is, I think there's a distinction between what I would call professional reporters and people who call themselves citizen journalists, and all they're really doing is writing for a social media site, often with some kind of axe to grind or campaign that they have going for them. And I think you need to separate those two out. And finally, I think anybody who's running for council cannot suddenly call himself a journalist and show up here wanting to take pictures of all kinds of stuff. So those are just some of my thoughts on how this might work.
Thank you. I have Councillor Columbus and then Councillor Huffman.
Well, just going to commend Dave for his fairness in reporting, and I know it's not fake news. Okay. And I kind of think you're right. We did get a letter from a constituent that kind of had that in it, where you'd have a license or a piece of paper or something you put in your wallet that gives you permission to take photos or videos, I guess, yeah.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned that it's not fake news, because that's one of the reasons why we want to take pictures, is because they give our stories some credibility. I like to take pictures of people from Port Dover who are speaking to council. And you can see, there's the person they're speaking, and here's some of the councilors listening, and it makes it credible. I was actually there, I got this picture. It's not made up by AI. Maybe in 10 years I'll be replaced by AI, but anyway, it gives credibility to what we're doing.
Councillor Huffman.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to Mr. Judd. Thank you very much for coming forward today with your deputation. I appreciate the effort. I support your deputation. I do think that I know councillors, we've talked amongst ourselves, just kind of saying that we need to keep, I know we have our communications department, but we need to keep finding a way to keep the community engaged. I think pictures go a long way with telling a story, and I think you're right, it does add credibility. What my suggestion would be is that the reporters who are interested in pursuing this in terms of taking pictures would have some kind of short meeting with the clerk's department, receive a lanyard that says accredited press. They're sitting in the gallery here, and no one else, unless you've got that accredited press lanyard, you wouldn't be permitted to take pictures. So I'm hoping that we can move along with this and find some middle ground. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Van Andrieschie.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you, thank you very much for the presentation, and I understand fully. Would it be appropriate to make a motion that we could have the clerk's department bring something back to council?
Motion if you like, sure.
I'd like to make that a motion, that we send it back to the clerk's department, and maybe they could come up with some suggestions. I like the idea of accreditation, maybe a press pass or whatever, for our local press that have come diligently to our meetings. So that would be appropriate for me. I'd like to make that motion.
Yeah, so first, were you seconding? Just one moment. So we're asking for clarification if you, what you want exactly in the motion, Councillor Van Andrieschie.
I'd like to be able to refer this back to staff or to the clerk's department that handles it.
So the clerk is asking if you want a report, or do you want?
No, I would like something brought back, well, a report brought back saying how we can make this work.
Okay.
A memo would be great.
You're green there. I don't know what that means, but you're. Oh, there we go. Okay, Councillor Van Passen, were you going to second, or you?
Well, I will second, but that section is part of the procedural bylaw that the clerk's office is reviewing that as we speak. So I think simple direction just to include a section on that in the new draft of the procedural bylaw that staff's already working on is simple enough to achieve the goal. But I'm not so sure about the lanyard. I was looking forward to the old fedora with the press card like you see in all the black and white movies.
I think we all were, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Councillor Huffman, for throwing that dream away for Councillor Van Passen. Okay, so I saw the clerk's hand. Can we hear from Bill there?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think rather than trying to decide and create a policy on the floor of committee today, it would be nice if the direction is to go back to staff, look at all the issues, bring a report forward with the pros and cons about opening this up, how we'd do it, how we'd control it, and how we'd manage it, rather than just getting a motion to amend and put something in place. So give us the opportunity to prepare a proper report and bring it back to council.
Okay, great. So do you want to, how do you want to treat your motion because it's been seconded?
I'm fine with that, sending it back and having something brought back. That's fine, but in the meantime as well, we'd have to figure something out. So I have no problem sending it back to the clerk's department for to come back, but as speedily as we could.
Okay, so are you withdrawing your motion? Just got to make sure we do it procedurally correct.
No, I'm not withdrawing my motion. I'm making it change so it.
Okay. Sure.
I still want it to stand that it goes to the clerk's department.
Okay. So we've got it moved and seconded.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, just a second. Yeah, I hear you. So I see you, Councillor Duthie. Yeah, just I was gonna ask for debate. Are you entering into debate, Councillor Duthie?
No, with respect, and I apologize, but I wasn't sure if this would go to a vote or not. So based on the discussion that I'm now hearing, I would like to declare a conflict, as my employer may have some sort of benefit from the outcome of this decision. Nothing pecuniary, but out of an abundance of caution, I'll declare a conflict and remove myself from this discussion.
Very good. Thank you very much. Is that noted? Yep. Thank you. Okay, is there any more debate or discussion on that motion? Councillor Columbus.
Well, for this report, are we looking at the next council and committee meeting?
Well, you could put a timeline on it, yes?
The next CIC would be appropriate, if possible, yes.
Yep,
Okay.
everyone's nodding, okay. Very good, thank you, Councillor Clemens. Anybody else? Okay, I want to ask if we can add something as well then, since it's, can we say that in the interim that they are exempt?
I'd like to add that in the interim, you are correct, that's why I made.
Well,
that-
so, no, and I
Someone
understand it's in the
would check with
procedural
the clerk.
bylaw, so how do we get around that procedural bylaw to give them a temporary grace period while you're doing the review?
Through you, Mr. Chair, well, you could do that. You could do a 2/3 majority vote on waiving the provision in the procedural bylaw. But I would caution, because I think there are some implications from a staff perspective that we'd like to bring back to committee to consider before we open the gates to that. There are privacy issues, there's concerns around, from a staff perspective, about our images being freely distributed. So there are some concerns that I'd like to express to council in a report before we open the door. Of course, it's council's decision.
Okay, I'll just throw it back to Councillor Van Andriesche. You have the floor.
I was looking to see that we could have an exemption, but if you feel there, I'm expressing this to the clerk's department, if you feel that there is a concern there, then I can side with you there. But I would like to see it come back as quickly as possible so that we don't have to belabor this.
I think the commitment is we would have it back for the May CIC meeting for council's deliberation.
Can we, good with, just how does that affect the press? Are we,
Well, it just extends things another month.
okay,
I think we can live with that.
great. Okay, so we have a motion then on the floor. Is there any more debate or discussion? Okay, seeing none, then I'll call, oh, so can we just make sure that we have it in front of us so we know exactly what we're about to vote on here? Okay, staff bring back a report, May CIC, that's the motion. Okay, so all those in favor? All right, carried. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we also need a motion to accept the deputation as information. Councillor Van Passen, seconded by Councillor Michele. All those in favor? Done. Okay, next, 5.2, Kate Vandermeer, Norfolk Historical Society. Okay, thanks for coming, Kate. Same thing, you have 5 minutes. I will let you know when you have 1 minute remaining.
Okay. Thank you, and I'd like to acknowledge that some of our concerns were incorporated into the staff report that will be brought up later on in the agenda. And I'd like to thank Brian Gertz and Josh Clare for meeting with us. The Norfolk Historical Society would like to reiterate our concern over the proposed idea of moving Lynwood Arts into the former Eva Brooke Donnelly Museum and current Norfolk County Archives. We do not see this move as a viable solution, and we are concerned about how it would impact the operations and long-term storage capacity of the archives, as well as the legacy of the collection of art and artifacts which were donated by the community through the Norfolk Historical Society before being transferred to Norfolk County. The storage space available at the Gilbertson Administration Building is limited, and the deaccession process is a sensitive process that should not be accelerated because of this suggested move. While condensed storage methods have and will continue to be utilized, the storage needs of any municipal archive are ever expanding, and we are concerned that this move would compound this problem. The Norfolk Historical Society was faced with the difficult decision to transfer the Eva Brooke Donnelly Museum and collection in 2017 into 2018, and we transferred everything for only $2 because our predecessors believed it was in the best interest of public access to the collection. Norfolk County agreed to steward this collection on behalf of the citizens of Norfolk, ensuring proper care, public access, and maintaining custodial authority. It is the most historically significant and valuable portion of the larger Norfolk County collection. It is irreplaceable. To move pieces of this collection off-site or accelerate the deaccessioning process in order to accommodate the storage needs of the privately owned Lynwood Arts collection would be a disservice to public interest. These pieces carry our shared history, and the intentions of these donations should be respected. The former Norfolk Historical Society collection needs a robust, thorough, and detailed inventory conducted before any pieces are relocated or removed from the archives. The Norfolk Historical Society is willing to assist with this work. Deaccessioning requires stringent standards and documentation, and if done improperly, the loss of archival pieces can cause irreversible destruction of cultural and historical value and deteriorate public trust. Another area of concern is the care and public access of the Lynwood Building and Eva Brooke Donnelly's home, two recognized heritage buildings. Improvement on the Eva Brooke Donnelly home are welcomed, but they should not be conditional on this suggested move simply to accommodate the declare of surplus and sale of the Lynwood Building, which desperately needs attention. Declaring the Lynwood as surplus and trying to sell the building is not a guaranteed cost-saving measure, and the integrity of the building is at risk. The move could very well take more time, money, and staff than anticipated in the previous report presented to Council and Committee. Allowing the Lynwood Building to sit empty, awaiting an appropriate sale, would be detrimental to the building and would not serve the Norfolk community. We respect the contributions of Lynwood Arts as well as their autonomy over their own future. It is our hope that Lynwood Arts and Norfolk County can work together towards an alternative solution that would see the repairs through on the Lynwood, preserve its legacy as a National Historic Site, and protect public access. If the move into the former Eva Brooke Donnelly Museum proceeds as an option to Council, we ask to be consulted and involved in the process and stress that expanding long-term storage capacity of the Norfolk County Archives should be prioritized. Though the collection held by the Norfolk Historical Society has been transferred to Norfolk County, we wish to be involved where it pertains to the legacy and care of the former Eva Brooke Donnelly Museum and collection that was previously stewarded by the Norfolk Historical Society for over 70 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Any questions for the deputation? Councilor Shelley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kate, very nice job. Thank you for this information. We're very informative. You mentioned in your deputation that the Norfolk Historical Society quite some time ago donated a large portion of the current collection at the Norfolk County Archives, correct?
Correct.
And are you able to give us just an approximate value estimate of what the value of that collection would be?
That information is included in the staff report, I believe, and it's upwards, like above $2 million.
Okay, so it's a very significant part of the entire collection that is housed at the archives.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah, thank you. And I guess, would you say that that some of this collection could be in some way put in some jeopardy by, going through some of this a little bit too quickly?
Yes, it's a careful process that needs to be undertaken, and it shouldn't be rushed to accommodate a move.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and a couple of more, Mr. Chair, unless someone else has some, I'm quite willing to wait. Kate, you mentioned that there's going to be a need for a very detailed and careful inventory of the collection that was provided by the Norfolk Historical Society way back. Do you have any kind of an idea of what kind of time frame we would be required to do that properly?
That I don't have a solid answer to, but as an estimate, I would, and depending on the amount of volunteers or staff available to help with that, it could take upwards of a couple months, depending on, manpower.
Okay, so there is like a realistic time frame that we could use for this. I'm just trying to point out for my colleagues that we are not talking about years or that kind of thing.
No, we're not talking about decades
No,
or
okay, very
anything
good,
like
because when you're dealing with a historical society, that could be the case.
We
Okay.
think in centuries, yes.
And lastly, Kate, what is it that you would like to see as the best course of action in this matter?
I mean, I think that Lynwood Arts, they have the autonomy to choose what option's going to be best for them, and I hope that council will work with them in good faith to find a solution that helps keep Lynwood Arts in the Lynwood building, because I don't think it serves anyone in the community for it to sit empty.
Thank you very much, Kate. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions for the Councillor Huffman? Yep.
It's not a question. Thank you, Chair. I just want to say, Kate, that was a really great deputation with some really fantastic information and very, very big on the details, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Further questions? Okay, seeing none then, thanks very much, Kate. Can I have a motion to accept or receive the deputation information? Councillor Huffman, seconded by Councillor Michelli. All those in favor? And carried. Thank you very much. Okay. Just getting a note here that I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so moving on then, we have no presentations today, so we're on to communications. We have 5 communications items. I have a note here from the clerk that Councillor Michelli would like to speak to communication item 7.5 after the staff report. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Procedurally, how do we do that? Just don't pass it right now and then bring it up later?
Yeah, we should get a 2/3 vote to accept and move it.
Okay, so what I'm told is that we need a 2/3 majority vote to then change the agenda to accommodate that. So I'm going to need a mover for that. Oh,
Yes, Mr. Chair, and I guess just a question to the clerk.
Okay.
I submitted this request at the same time that I submitted my request for the consent items. I'm just not clear as to why we need a 2/3 majority for this and not for the previous.
good question.
Thank you. I would suggest, in hindsight, it should have been done as an amendment to the agenda to move an agenda item around. So just to stay procedurally sound, just having that done now, just to keep everything clear.
Good. So, go, Councillor Hoffman, yep.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, I just wanted to say that on the speaker's notes, it says we have 5 communication items today, and 7.1 is a letter from the Ministry of Finance, re the Roma Conference. That's not on my agenda.
Okay, just give me one moment.
Okay.
Say again, sorry, Councillor Button? Okay. Okay, that's on my script also, so we're going to try to get what's correct here, and we'll go with the agenda as it is, not our notes.
It's an error on the chair notes.
Okay, so it's just an error on the chair notes, I'm told, so the agenda is correct.
Okay, so there's no letter from Ministry of Finance?
No. No, there's not. Okay, so back to the 2/3. You moving that, Councillor Michelli? Nope, speaking to it, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I'm just reviewing my notes. I believe that the original purpose that I had for that was made prior to the registration of the deputation. So I don't know if there's a lot of value in my bringing that up for 7.5, so I'm going to withdraw that request.
Beautiful. That solves that. Okay, so we have 5 communication items today, 7.1 through 7.5. May I have a motion to receive them as information? Councillor Columbus, seconded by Councillor Vanadrucci. All those in favor? Okay, thank you very much. Staff reports. We're going right down to Public Works. 8.3, award of contracts for Bloomsburg Bridge and Old Highway 24 culvert replacements. Darnell Lambert, Director of Engineering. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, report PW 26015 presents council with an overview of the tender results for the Bloomsburg Bridge and Old Highway 24 projects near Bloomsburg. Overall, the project is roughly 23% over budget, equating to a funding need of approximately $419,000. Based on a comparison of the original estimate to tendered or incurred costs, we attribute the overage to the need to advance the archaeological works around these projects to a stage 4, higher costs for sheep piling and dewatering components, higher pricing for some items of steel, additional work effort for non-vibratory compaction as we're near the heritage, the old arch bridge. We also have requirements for isolation fencing. The funding needs also need to account for quality assurance testing, on-site vibratory and archaeological monitoring. To properly align the financial needs for this project to its tender results, a budget amendment is required. The necessary financial adjustments are set out in Table 2 and 3 of the staff report, and should council approve the requested adjustment, this project can be awarded, allowing the construction schedule to proceed as planned with the following completion dates. For Old Highway 24 culvert, we plan to be done by September 4, 2026, and for the Bloomsburg Bridge, completed by October the 30th, 2026. I think it is important to note that sometimes we come before you seeking some financial adjustments for our projects. However, I can say that for 2026, we have awarded 7 of 9 of our engineering projects, all within budget. We have 2 left to go. Overall savings for the engineering awards is around $417,000. On the construction side, I do recall Councillor Van Passen making comment that it is nice to get these out early and achieve some funding savings. We have now closed 9 of 13 tenders. Total award overall so far $21.2 million. The budget assigned is 26, so we have actually achieved some larger savings of around $4.86 million overall. That being said, I am in front of you today seeking $419,000 to close this one out. So happy to field any questions that the committee may have.
Councillor Brunton, and then Councillor Vanadrici.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I apologize, Darnell, I would have asked these earlier, but I just breezed through the report. One of the things, the 92,000 is strictly the archaeological work. Am I correct on that?
You are correct. We were hopeful that that project might only have to advance to a stage 2. We had to go all the way to a stage 4. Stage 3 and 4 require exhumation on site, collection of artifacts and some counting. Very, very labor intensive. And so, yes, we've gone over budget on that particular component.
Okay, my second question is on page, let me tell you here, it's page 2, and it's the paragraph down where you say completion of stage 3 and 4 level work inclusive of third-party oversight by Indigenous representative organizations has been completed, and any identified construction limitations have been included in the tender. Can you clarify what that means? I hope it ain't what I think it is, but.
So that means the stage 3 and 4 were complete. I did make note here that we had to have third-party oversight by HDI, the Haudenosaunee Development Institute, which oversees our archaeological partners that complete the dig work. So there's actually 2 sets of, I'll call it archaeological examiners on site. That work is all complete. The outcome is the requirement to fence off the site, but to still have monitoring taking place during the digging of around the foundations, just in case something is found in close proximity, but we're not expecting that to happen.
So is that going to take place all through construction or just at a specific time?
It'll be just on the south abutment, if I recall, because that's where the one dig site was that found most of the little artifacts.
Okay, and will that be a new cost to the contract if there is some extra work involved?
So that's accounted for in the additional budget ask that's laid out here.
Okay, thank you very much.
Councillor Van Andrieschie.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you, about the same kind of thoughts there as well. So when we put out the tender at that time, and then, of course, we've got these extra costs, and it seems to me that it was just, there's a lot of costs that just the materials themselves have increased in price, is what it does. But my question is, when you put a tender out, is there no limitation on that, a percentage of limitation that, say you ask for something, they tell you it's going to cost X amount, and then it's up by 20% or whatever? How do we get around, how in my mind do I justify the fact that we put out tender to get a number, and then you come back to get another number because of the cost of materials that have increased?
So in this case here, when we've done an examination of our tender, our estimates as far as the items related to steel were a little bit out. Going forward, as the project progresses, the contractor's not allowed to change those cost items. We have from time to time, I'll give you an example, fuel has gone up. We've already closed some projects. We've had some paper requests in for us to consider the price adjustment on fuel, and we have denied those. The one item where municipalities have gotten very comfortable with making accommodation for, and our budgets do include wording in there, is there's an index price for asphalt, because that can go up or down, and so a lot of our projects have an allocation in there for some float on the AC. But all the other items, once they're bid, they are fixed.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, Councillor Columbus.
Yes, Darnell, what is so special about this Bloomsburg Bridge compared to other bridges?
Well, I will say, Councillor, that this is a very tight work site to work within. There's the existing, I think it's a Roman arch structure just off on the east side, if you ever wanted to pull over and take a little walk down there. We are doing our best, you know, I think there's about 5 meters separation, if you're lucky, between that older bridge that we need to protect and the new bridge that we now need to demolish, put new footings and foundations in and put into place. So it is a very tricky work site. Add to the fact to that we actually now have artifacts on the site that we need to be mindful of and be very careful of. And, you know, typically we would like to use compaction by vibratory rolling, and we cannot do that here for fear of damaging the existing arch bridge. So it's a tricky site.
Councillor Michelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just curious if Councillor Columbus was also asking or aware that it is a designated heritage bridge that they're working on. I think that's what you're kind of getting at. Correct? Thank you.
Thank you for the clarity. Any other questions for Darnell? Okay, well, we have a recommendation in front of us. So do I have a mover for the staff recommendation or an alternative? Councillor Van Pass, are you moving the recommendation? Seconded by Councillor Van Andrieschie. Any more debate or discussion? Okay, seeing none then. All those in favor? Carried. Thanks, Darnell. We're moving on to Community and Development Services. Sumaya, come on up.
Hello. Thank you. Through the deputy chair, I'm here to present the proposed consultation by the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing on simplifying and standardizing official plans. That was opened between October and November 2025, this year, in 2025. So the consultation sought feedback on standardizing official plans template, land use designations and schedules, as well as removing secondary plans and limiting the number of pages of the official plan. We worked on preparing a kind of review of the proposed changes and how they impact our policies. It is noted that the land use designations include mixed-use areas and employment areas within the meaning of the Planning Act. Staff note that these changes will require a review of the current official plan policies and land use designations and provide for greater flexibility if they are adopted, as the proposed uses to be permitted in residential and mixed-use areas are more important and provide for greater flexibility that would reduce the number of required Planning Act application if adopted. The prohibition and elimination of secondary plans will be monitored. It's not adopted yet to determine the implication of these changes on our planned secondary plans within the county. It is worth mentioning that a second consultation is currently open on standardizing official plans until April 29. We're currently working on providing comments to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing on the second consultation. In terms of the secondary plans, there's also a second consultation that is open. We know that this consultation seek feedback not on removing the secondary plans, but rather on identifying the types of areas where secondary plans could be used and applied, and potentially exempting the secondary plans from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs approvals. These changes will be closely monitored to determine the impacts on our planning documents and policies. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for staff? Yep, Councillor Columbus.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And I know the previous term of council plus this term of council, we've been waiting for the secondary plans. I believe Waterford and Delhi, and I don't know if Simcoe's in there. Is this whole new process going to affect that, I take it? And where are we with the existing review of the secondary plans that we've been talking about for quite some time?
Through the chair to Councillor Columbus. So there was the Port Dover secondary plan completed some years ago, but not taken quite to the finish line. Simcoe plan was also started. So as you know, with all the staff turnover and whatnot, we had planned to pick that up sometime soon, and then this was released. So we've put that on hold in the case that it turns out we can't actually implement any secondary plans. It's just not a wise use of resources at the moment. It doesn't really seem like the province will go that way in eliminating them. So if that's the case, then we will start again on the secondary plans.
Okay, and in that process, the whole community would be involved in each of the communities?
Through the chair, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Duthie, and then Councillor Huffman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you, staff, thanks for your work on this. Certainly, we have been talking about secondary plans now for some time, in this term of council at the very least, and I think before that, and Simcoe was definitely one of those areas. I wonder if there's a staff opinion as to any limitations there may be by using zoning bylaw in order to achieve some of the goals that we would have through a secondary plan, or if staff believes that there's actually greater opportunity. And then at the same time, is there anything that we can do now, if that's the case, within zoning bylaws to advance some of the same goals as we were looking to do through secondary plans?
Yes, thank you. Through the Deputy Mayor, so in terms of secondary plans and zoning bylaw, so different tools are used for different purposes. It is worth noting, though, that shall secondary plans be adopted, the zoning bylaw provision needs to align with what the secondary plan is provided in terms of directions. So once we have a secondary plan in place, this implies carrying out any necessary amendments to the zoning bylaw. Now, the purpose of the secondary plan is also to, for instance, for the lands that were approved to be included within the settlement area, the purpose of that that secondary plan would be to determine the land use designations of these areas and to determine not just residential uses or density, but also public amenities, required densities, and distribution of open spaces. So it's all about designating complete communities and determining the land use designations that would be planned for that community to also achieve the population growth that was determined in the growth study. So a secondary plan is quite a technical exercise. It's about providing adequate development that can meet projected population growth and community needs, and also providing public amenities within those future areas. It's also worth noting that the nature and purpose of secondary plans is, it can vary depending on the case. So secondary plans can be made to promote economic development if it's provided in downtown, or to increase mixed uses and kind of provide increased opportunity to accommodate both commercial development and residential uses in downtowns if it's used for downtowns. So we have that, it is planned. If it's used for waterfront areas such as the Port Dover secondary plans that was put on hold, it's something that was started by previous staff, and it's a project that was put on hold for some time. So the uses in that area, for instance, it would achieve different goals and objectives. So this includes increasing resilience within waterfront areas, promoting tourism, providing for more commercial activity and public spaces within those areas. So different secondary plans serve different purposes. For the time being, we're working on updating our official plan policies to be in alignment with the provincial planning statement. We're working on the zoning housekeeping, just to make sure that our zoning requirements are up to date and kind of meet the needs as they change. We're trying to carry out the provincial amendments in our zoning bylaw, so that work is being done. The only thing that needs further consideration is mobilizing financial technical resources on official plans and then having different directions. So if there's a specific template that needs to be followed for secondary plans, or specific requirements to trigger a secondary plan study, those requirements, they need to be provided, confirmed, in order for us to mobilize those resources. I hope that answers your question.
Very good. Councillor Hoffman.
Thank you, Chair. Nothing exciting other than the fact that I've been waiting over 4 years for the secondary study to be done in Waterford. So hopefully we get some clarity and we get all of our ducks in a row and the province doesn't go this way and we can get our secondary plans done.
Okay. Any other questions for staff? Very good. Seeing none, we do have a staff recommendation, and it's just received as information. So can I have a mover for that? Councillor Van Andreesche, seconded by Councillor Huffman. All those in favor? Okay, great. Thank you very much, Sumaya. Port Rowan Medical Center disposition. Marie Steiner. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Through the chair, good afternoon, members of council. Before you is report CDS-26-046, Port Rowan Medical Center disposition. This report brings forward disposition options for the Port Rowan Medical Center located at 1035 Bay Street in Port Rowan. The building previously served as an EMS base and has been leased for medical and dental uses. However, with all tenants vacated and remaining lease obligations ending in May 2026, the property is now positioned for disposition. The site was identified for divestment through the facilities master plan, and staff committed to bringing forward individual reports for facilities scheduled for disposition. This report fulfills that commitment. Staff reviewed 2 disposition options. Option 1 is to propose sale of the building together with the adjacent parking lot as a single parcel. While this provides full control to a purchaser, it permanently removes a municipally owned parking lot resource that supplies downtown activity. Option 2, the recommended option, proposes selling only the building footprint while retaining the adjacent parking lot and county ownership and continuing its use as a municipal parking lot. The existing zoning does not require a dedicated on-site parking, and the retained lot continues to support future commercial and office use of the building. Staff are recommending option 2 as it allows the county to divest a non-core asset while maintaining an important public parking asset, preserving flexibility for future municipal use, and supporting ongoing downtown activity. With that, staff are recommending council proceed with option 2 as presented in the report and would be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Marie? Councillor Van Adrishi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you, thank you for that report. And I too recognize that the parking lot is very vital to the downtown of Port Rowan. Could you go over, if you were to put it on the market, I see in the report, table 1, indicating what you feel that repairs were required. But putting it on the market, what was the price you were thinking of again? Can I ask that question?
Through the chair
It's
to
in the-
you, it's between 350 and 450,000.
Do you think that, I mean, I don't know how you come about getting that number, but I would think the value of that would be more than what you've come up with.
That's through the broker opinion of value that we received a few months ago. It's based on, we have that based on, I'll tell you in 1 second. Yeah, the earlier valuation prepared for the facilities review reflected a different market context and was completed at a time when vacancy rates were lower. The recent broker opinion of value reflects current market conditions and is based on comparable properties within Norfolk County, which provides a more accurate and localized benchmark.
Right, okay. I still think it's quite low, and maybe another assessment, if possible, could be taken a look at, because when I take a look at what there has to be repairs done, you're not looking very much till 2032. So at the end of the day, the building is pretty sound, in my opinion. It's located well, so I would be, I just want to make sure that we're selling it for the right price and not going too low. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Other questions for Marie? Councillor Michelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I do have to say I concur with Councillor Van Adrishi that I think we might be able to get more, but I do know also that the intent is to sell it in as-is condition, even though I'm not aware that there are too many, structural problems or major renovations that are required. But I just want to mention to staff that I support option 2, maintaining some parking in that specific, that is right in the center of the Port Rowan Business District, very important parking. And I've kind of come to learn that parking lots are kind of like lakefront property. Once you lose them, you will never get them back. So I really want to support option 2. Thank you.
Very good. Other questions for Marie? Okay, so we have a recommendation. Do I have a mover for that recommendation or something else? Councillor Columbus, seconded by Councillor Michelli. Any debate or discussion? Let me see none. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Very good. Carried. Thanks, Marie. 8.4.3, we have Lynwood Arts Center agreement. Brian Geertz, where are you? There you are, Brian. Please go ahead whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to committee. Today we're considering report CDS 26063, Lynwood Arts Service Agreement, more options. So this report responds to Council's request last cycle for more information related to the Lynwood Arts Center's request for a sustainable long-term operating model. The core issue before us is that 21 Lynwood Avenue, a nationally designated historic building, is increasingly costly to operate and maintain, and with substantial capital needs in the near future. At the same time, Lynwood Arts has expressed challenges in funding those ongoing operations and major repairs, and the report noted one option is to that the Archives building on Norfolk Street South has underutilized space that could support public gallery services. So in the previous staff report, option 1 proposed transferring ownership of 21 Lynwood to the Lynwood Arts Center, along with some ongoing financial support. And option 2 discussed relocating the Lynwood Arts operations to the Archives facility. In the March meeting, staff recommended option 2, but generally supported both options as they were deemed feasible. So Norfolk County's relationship with community charities really shows how municipal partnerships can support high-quality service delivery without undermining the independence of local charities. Charities, they retain their authority over their mission, their governance, their strategy and programming through their independent board, even when municipal priorities influence our shared goals. So partnerships are structured through agreements that define the roles, service standards, and reporting, and that is the same kind of structure that the county has with the Lynwood Arts Center. So they keep their own artistic and organizational decisions. Those are autonomous. So Lynwood is an independent charity with control over their daily operations, but as part of our operating and funding agreement, we have some performance metrics, and we meet regularly and have a very healthy relationship with the staff there and communicate well and coordinate well. So in preparation for the report before you today, we consulted with the Norfolk Historical Society, the Heritage Committee, the Lynwood Arts Center board members, Norfolk Arts Council representation, and also facilities and museum and archive staff. So one of the key issues is museum and archive storage capacity. We have multiple sites that are exceeding their storage capacity currently, creating an overall deficiency of about 8,000 square feet. But thankfully, due to the foresight through the budget process, we are in the process of adding in over 5,000 square feet of new storage space at the Gilbertson Administration Building, and there is more room to expand that in the future. So if there was changes to how the artifacts need to be stored, there is sufficient space to do so. The report before you today also emphasizes the building, 21 Lynwood's intrinsic value as a historic building. It is kind of an artifact in and of itself that helps tell Simcoe's history. So that being important, it also is urgent, the capital funding required for the building. There's major structural repairs that need to be done and cannot be delayed any longer. So while the resolution in the staff report looks kind of dire, it just supports the need to make urgent decisions to protect the structure of the building so that that building can keep telling our shared history here. So staff in Lynwood, board members continue to communicate well and have a very good relationship, coordinate all our activities, and through this difficult process, and Lynwood Arts Center continues to provide valuable public events and programs, but the 60-40 capital funding requirements are crushing. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Good. Okay, thanks, Brian. Questions for Mr. Geertz? Okay, Councillor Hoffman.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to Brian. Have there been any discussions with the Norfolk Historical Society?
Through the chair, we did meet with them in preparation for this report, and we regularly interact with many of the same volunteers through our different museum sites, so we're well connected to the people from the Norfolk Historical Society, and we did have a specific meeting on this topic to prepare for today.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Councillor Duthie.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. I just wonder if there's any supplemental information that the CAO may have from any dialogue or conversations that he's had recently that he could share.
To you, Al.
Through you, Mr. Chair, in response, I can share that I have had discussions recently with the chair of the Lynwood Board. My understanding is that the Lynwood Board is prepared to accept a decision from council today on either option 1 or option 2. There might be more of a desire to take that leap of faith from some of those on the board for option 1, which is the option of transferring the ownership of the building to the group and allow them to make a go of it. But my understanding is the board is prepared to accept a decision from council today on either option 1 or option 2.
Thank you. Councillor Duthie, is there any further?
No, this time. Thank you.
Thanks. Questions for staff? Any others? Councillor Van Pass and then Councillor Brunton.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Chairman. Read the recommendation from staff, and I do believe that we're missing a step in there. Like we've been working on this. This is not a surprise. We've been working on this little situation for at least 5 years that I remember, and we signed a new agreement with them recently in January 2024. We are suggesting that the Lynwood Group is in default of that agreement, so we are required to give them 30 days notice of that and give them that amount of time to remedy that situation. At that point, then that void, or then we can take the next step. But there is a clause in that agreement that if we think we want to sell it, we first need to offer it to the Lynwood Group at a price of $288,000, that they have 60 days to respond. And I don't see where that is included in here. And, you know, that's a legal document that is attached here. We have to follow those steps. We can't just decide which ones we pick and choose. So I wonder whether the better path forward is to issue the notice of default, which is in the recommendation. We got to give them 30 days. If they can't remedy that default in those 30 days, then we need to issue the next order and give them 60 days to figure that out. And only after we figure out whether they are going to take the building back do we decide whether we move them. So I'm wondering if this recommendation doesn't include all the legal requirements, or whether we only need to do part of it and do it in those proper stages.
Who's that a question for?
I would say either our recreation, or Mr. Gertz, or Mr. Meneses.
Who wants it? Brian's got it? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll start, and if I miss anything, I'm sure we can fill in the gaps. So overall, based on, you're right, staff have been in discussions with this, kind of trying to improve the model, or there's been signals that this is not sustainable for quite some time. So while there are a few different options of ways that we could go through step A, B, C in the current agreement, Lynwood also has recognized that some of those options might not be feasible, so we're trying to do this quicker and get to a solution faster. So that is why Lynwood came forward with a request of 2 suggestions, including their purchase price of the building for $1, which is outside the current agreement, so we couldn't use the mechanics of the current agreement to get to the current position. So that's why the reports and the discussion has come forward the way it has.
I'm going to throw it to the CAO as well, just before you go again there, Councillor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and just as a follow-up to Brian's response, I think to the councillor, while it's not noted in the second paragraph of the recommendation, I think we're saying the same thing, and I'll read it just for the public record, that council directs staff to issue the notice of default to Lynwood, to provide the charitable board with the final opportunity to review their opportunities and challenges and respond back with formal solutions. I think without saying it's the 30-day period, 60-day period, I think that's what we're basically saying. And then if the lease cannot be remedied, then we're proceeding. So I think legally we are following what we're saying. It's been simplified in the motion, or in the recommendation. Sorry.
Councillor Van Passen, go ahead.
So does that mean that what this motion actually means is by moving them to Everbrook Donnelly is how they are going to remedy the default in their current agreement?
CAO?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I would say the following. I think what we're saying is we're giving them that opportunity, but you're giving them the opportunity. You're going to finally say you're in default. They now have, within the terms of that agreement, a certain amount of time to respond. And I think with council's resolution, if you agree with the recommendation that's in front of you, then we will work with the board to move them to the archives building. It also allows them the opportunity, if they want to come back and provide a formal offer with something, that's there. But the recommendation here in front of you is to proceed with option number 2.
See, this is where I have the problem, because for the last 5 years, we've been trying to get something that is black and white rather than gray. and we have a black and white agreement, and now we want to paint it gray again. And I don't want to do that. I want to, we go back to, I think it was the town of Simcoe in the 70s already, they had an agreement, and that got voided by one in 2003, which, by the way, it is very clear who the owner of the art collection is. It is owned by the Corporation of Norfolk County, and we also got some office equipment and a piano. So, like, we got all the cool stuff, but that one is not in doubt. We've reissued one, well, another one earlier in the term, and then redrafted that on, I think it's January of 2024. Very black and white. So let's follow what we wrote down, give them their 30 days notice. If they don't remedy the current lease, then we go to the next step. Part of that includes what the county decides. If we want to get rid of that building, we have to give them that option. We did put that back in as a clause. That was not in the previous agreement. That's from a long time ago agreement. We put it back in to, well, we both sides agreed that protect sort of their original interest. We have to give them that option. We can't just skip that over. So I think for today, all the direction that staff need would be to send them the letter that they are in default and you got 30 days to remedy the situation. And if you don't, then next meeting cycle, we'll do something different. But we can't just jump to the end without filling in all these required little legal steps. That's how we got into the gray area for the last 40 years on this one.
Through you, Mr. Chair, from a staff position, we couldn't agree more. We don't like to deal with the gray, and so if it's council's direction today to proceed with some firm dates without having sort of escape clauses and off-ramps, we would welcome that wholeheartedly so that we can move this forward to a successful conclusion that allows Lynwood the opportunity to remain as a valuable part of our community and allow us to make some fiscally responsible decisions as well as a county.
Councillor Michelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess first, if this is appropriate, I would like to second Councillor Van Passion's motion. And I think I like the idea of just following the agreement to the letter because that's what contracts are for. And also, you know, maybe the board, given another 30 days, something could still develop. I mean, a lot of what we've been discussing here with this Lynwood situation is based on a lot of hope. And, you know, I'm kind of hoping that maybe there will be some kind of solution. I have actually had some contacts with some parties that have suggested maybe some ways that they might help. I'm not at liberty to disclose that, but maybe 30 days will be the appropriate amount of time, first of all, to complete our legal obligation, and also maybe just to give them a little bit more time to see if maybe there's something that can be done.
Councillor Brunton, I'm sorry I missed you, and also Councillor Huffman, I'm sorry. You know, he was before you. I just jumped it because I thought you were seconding the motion, which you did. Correct? So now we have a motion on the floor. So it's Councillor Brunton was next, and then you're after Councillor Brunton. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a few questions on the report, and Brian, you burning the midnight oil on this one. It's a long one. Anyways, I'm on page 15. I want to make sure I'm clear on some of these figures. I'm on page 15, table 4, and you identify the major costs at Lynwood of $1.2 million. But in there's $146,000 that are in the distant, I guess, but there's the largest portion, of course, over $1 million is identified as 2027. In the motion at the start, and I don't know if I can go back to that real quick, at the end of the motion, it says, give me a second, it's a lot of pages. The council directs the staff to complete an emergency capital repairs only if required to maintain 21 Lynwood Ave, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what that would include? Do you know, I assume Michael Simone has looked at this. Do you know what how much would we have to do in 27?
Through the chair, the intention of that final statement in the resolution is to show the community that there isn't an intention to let the building go. that to maintain its heritage status, at least do the minimum if there was a vacant period of time. There isn't a specific project in mind that needs to be done other than what's already in the capital plan. Foundation repairs are the current urgent item that need to be completed.
So we don't really have a list of what they are. I guess my concern is I don't want to start throwing good money after bad. That's my comment. But I'm also on table 5 now, and I want to make sure I'm understanding this. And it's on page 16. And all those costs there, $602,000, that's applicable to move them? Am I reading that right?
Through the chair, that's correct. So those would be, if the move was to the archives, these are items that were identified through conversations with the Lynwood board. Some of them are more capital related, some of them are more operating related, but it's kind of the rolled up cost of the change.
Who come up with that estimate?
Staff came up with it, with the estimates, and now it is a high-level overview. Not every item was costed in detail, but it gives an overview of the scale of the costs involved.
So you're saying it's fairly accurate, or it's just a ballpark figure? What are we looking at there? That's $600,000. It's a lot of money. And I'm wondering how accurate it is. That's my point.
Through the chair, it's an initial estimate, so we would have to refine all of them if it was to go ahead.
Okay, and my second question is, a few years ago, there was a considerable amount of work done at Donnelly Museum. None of this was done. What was done at that museum down there? Does anybody have the answer to that? And it was in, I mean, they had we spent a lot of money down there. Do you know what was done or how much that cost us? Like, none of this was done, but we did spend a lot of money. I'm just wondering, I'm starting to wonder if where we're going here.
So we have Michael Simoes on the line. Is it a good time to go to him, Brian, you think? Good time to go to Michael Simoes. He's got his hand up. Good? Okay, Michael, please go ahead.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair. So just some clarity on the archives project 2 years ago. That was an exterior repairs project, so focusing on brick repointing, window and exterior door replacement. So obviously these upgrades that are proposed in Table 5 would be all interior upgrades to facilitate the move of Lynwood within the archives building.
Okay, and you were involved in preparing this, Michael?
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions for Michael just while he's on the line. Do you have questions for Michael, or who's your question for? Is it back to Brian, or? I don't want to jump ahead of you, but what do you want to do?
No, go ahead.
Okay, Michael, just out of curiosity, is it typical to add 20% for contingency to these things?
I would say through you, Mr. Chair, that a typical contingency value is between 15 to 20%.
Okay.
Is fairly.
That's all. Thank you.
Fairly regular.
No, Councillor Huffman and then Councillor Van Drucci. Yep.
Did you have questions for Michael? Okay, she can go first.
Councillor Van Drucci.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Councillor Huffman. Just want a clarification here on these numbers on Table 5. So we're saying that to make the move, it would cost $602,000, rough estimate, and with a contingency, you would add on an extra 15 to 20% of a contingency in case something else would be more expensive. Is that correct?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we actually did include contingency within that 630 or 602,000. So if you look at the last line before the 602, we have $100,000 contingency value, which is approximately the 20%.
Okay. All right. So it costs X amount to move, X amount to stay, and it's the cost to either or. Okay. Thank you very much.
Councillor Huffman, thank you so much for waiting patiently. Go ahead.
No problem. Thank you, Chair. This may come out as left field for some, but I just feel like there's still too many moving parts. And the thing that I'm not comfortable with is that I don't feel that this is a National Historic Building that we're talking about. It's something that we just can't replace. It's part of the history of Norfolk County, and I think we need to revere that. At this point in time, I'm not comfortable that we've done enough public consultation regarding this, this move, and I would like to defer this matter to next month's CIC. Thank you.
Motion to defer. Is there a seconder? Councillor Van Andrieschie. Councillor Van Andrieschie, you're seconding? Okay, got it. All right. Any debate or discussion on the deferral? Councillor Columbus.
Could I ask a question?
Yes.
Have we ever received a business plan with respect to this whole thing staying at the Lynwood Arts? I thought we did at one time.
Staff? Brian, you got that one?
Through you, Mr. Chair, part of the option one was of transferring ownership to Lynwood Arts Centers. The board reviewed their capacity to run and operate the building, and they were willing to take on that opportunity and the risks with that.
But do you know if there's a business plan that was put forth on file somewhere? I mean, we've been discussing this since Norfolk County was born in 2001, so many times every term of council. So I just wondered if there was a business. I thought there was at one time.
CAO, you want to take that one?
Through Mr. Chair, I'm not sure what we're referring to in terms of a business plan. If you're asking in terms of an operations business plan for Lynwood to try to make a go of it, that's a question for the board. As the landlord and the owner of the building, we know that the building has its challenges. There's some significant capital upkeep required, and that's why it's in front of you. Council a few years ago directed staff, and we were successful in a new lease arrangement which provided for some cost sharing for those capital upkeep items. Lynwood unfortunately hasn't been successful in getting those grants and those monies raised to fund those capital requirements, and we are at a point now where the urgency to do the specific capital foundation repairs are urgent, and we are not at a point where we feel comfortable in deferring this decision any further. There has to be a decision done. I know that there's a motion on the floor in terms of deferring it for 1 month. I'm not sure, to be honest, what that would resolve and what additional information would be gleaned over the next month, but I'd love to try to truth that out a little bit more in terms of what the expectations are on staff to come back within 30 days.
Councillor Huffman and then Councillor Brunton.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, I guess my point would be is that we haven't done any public consultation. We're doing a lot of public consultation on other matters that make a difference to our community, and I think this is something that makes a big difference, and I don't feel that it has the support of the arts community, who I think we need to pay attention to their voice, and I don't think it would be harmful to do a comms and just get it out there. It doesn't necessarily mean that Lynwood Arts has to still be on the hook. The public may say, we need to sell this, we need to put the money back into the coffers and spread out the wealth kind of thing. There may be some other ideas. I just don't think it would hurt. And I kind of resent the fact that we're being told it has to be done today. And I don't think it needs to be done today.
Councillor Brunton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I listened to Councillor Van Passen and my colleague, Councillor Huffman. I'm prepared to wait 30 days, but I want some other things included in 30 days. I want to know exactly if we sent a letter out to the group, if we have, Councillor Van Passen asked for that, or identified it, I guess. Have we done that? Have we done that? Notified them that they had 30, they're in default? Does anybody? Have we done that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we've not. We've had the discussions with them. We were waiting for this decision today of council before we proceeded with that.
No, but the agreement is in default. We could have sent a letter to notify them of that, could we not?
We could have, through you, Mr. Chair. Council had directed us to work with them in terms of a potential option 2, which is what's in front of you today.
Okay. I'm prepared to go along with Councillor Huffman for 30 days, but I want to see some specifics, and I'll tell you what they are. I want Michael to tell me exactly what he would have to do in 2027 cost to fix up the Lynwood building. I would like the letter to go out that that they are in default, okay? And let's come back, and if Councillor Columbus wants a business plan, you got 30 days to do it. And if you can't do those things, let's get on with business. I'm tired of putting good money into a bad building, plain and simple. Thank you.
So I just need some clarification here, Councillor Brunton, because just before we proceed, because Councillor Huffman's asking for Councillor Van Passen's, not asking, she's moved to defer it. So you can't support both, right? You can't support Councillor Huffman's deferral, but then also say we're sending a letter because that was Councillor Van Passen's motion that is being deferred. So I need...
I want all those things in 30 days. That's all I'm asking for. I don't care how we do it. I'm agreeing to a deferral, but I want those questions.
Okay, you gotta be in the microphone, please, if we're gonna go on here.
Said, all I'm saying is I agree with the deferral. I just want the questions answered. We don't seem to have all the answers. That's why we're going around the circles.
Okay, so, sorry? Okay, so clerk is saying you want a referral. Yes. Okay, so Councillor Huffman's saying it's a referral. Okay, so I need the seconder to say, are we going to switch that from to a referral, not a deferral? Councillor Van Andrigi, she agrees. Okay, so now we have a referral on the table. Got CAO champion at the bit here. Let's go.
I'm just seeking clarification. So what I've heard is that there's a desire to get the information back in front of council. We've provided that information several times in regards to the building condition audit and the 10-year capital requirements for the building. So that's been in the public realm, and you've had that information now for multiple years. So we know exactly what's required and the estimated costs of those repairs. You've asked for a business plan to be created. I need some clarification on what that business plan is. Is it a business plan from Lynwood in terms of how they are going to develop a business plan that addresses the current requirements that they have under the lease? Is it a business plan from the county in terms of how we're going to keep that ownership in public hands of that building? I'm a little bit confused there. And I also heard that there was a desire for a public information session in the next 30 days, which is problematic for us to schedule a public. Oh, I thought Councillor Huffman had asked for a public session for more
No,
public
not a
input.
public session, just something on our communications, talking about this. The only thing that's gone out in terms to the public is a brief little thing on the MyFM and the Reformer, I believe, if that. I don't even know if I saw it on the Reformer. But just something there saying that this is what we're looking at. Do you have input? Like, we're asking for input for the MAT and the MDCs and all kinds of stuff. I don't know why we can't ask for some kind of input. It doesn't have to be a session. It can just be a link where people maybe put comments. And then if we get nothing from the public, then we deem that obviously the public aren't interested, and we move forward in our with our thoughts and wishes.
So if I may, through you, Mr. Chair, so, and I don't want to be problematic, I'm just trying to figure out how we're doing this. So if we're asking for just something on a website that has sort of a bit of a survey or something, there's some logistics around that. How long is it open? How do we confirm that the input is coming in from Norfolk residents? All of that. So we just need to be, I just don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. So because we're asking for some public input and come back to council within 30 days, I'm not sure we can do all of that to the satisfaction of what you're looking for, but if you'd like us to try, we certainly can.
Okay, so just, Councillor Brunton, just for the next year, the 2027 is in the report, it's table 4, so it looks like it's about 1.17 million next year is what's due. So just to answer that. Councillor Duthie, go ahead. No, he's not there?
Sorry, my apologies, Mr. Chair. I was just going to confirm whether we were looking for a referral or deferral, but I would maybe just sort of, to referral, I think we can have some discussion on it. I have had lots of dialogue, or several pieces of dialogue from members of the arts community asking for more time. That said, I would say we've had a lot of time already on this topic, and I think it does need to come to a close relatively soon. That said, I can get behind the idea of the next sort of 30 days, but we absolutely need to put a bow on this soon. And I think there are members in the gallery today that are connected to Lynwood. I suspect they are hearing some of the desires of council in terms of let's get to a conclusion with this. I think many members are looking to have this, and I won't speak for you all certainly, but to have the building off our books. I guess my sense would be it needs to remain in some degree of public ownership. So I'll subscribe to the idea of giving 30 more days, but we need to get to a resolution quickly on this, which is in the best interest of the municipality, of our taxpayers, but is also that of the group at Lynwood, so they can continue and plan their operation for the remainder of the year.
Thank you. Any other? Okay, Councillor Van Passen, Councillor Brunton. I think that'll be your last shot, Doug. So, okay. No. Councillor Van Passen, then you, but just take a minute and be ready to go. Councillor Van Passen, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can't support a referral. That's what we did last time, and that's what the 17-page report with 3 more attachments with it. So we got 50 pages that the staff just sent us back because we referred them back for more detail. We've got it. It's time to actually do something. And the only way to kick that process into gear is to go to the attached document, which is the contract we have with them, issue them the notice of default. That's a 30-day window again. That gives them 30 days to remedy the situation. That's all what I keep hearing people are asking about. And this table 5 in here, I got to question a little bit how much of that is already in the budget. They are ongoing repairs that were planned for Eva Brook in the 10-year capital plan already. We're going to move them up a little bit. Staff time, how much is the actual cost specifically of that option of moving a little bit? I doubt it's 602,000. I doubt it's the 100 actually, but the rest of it is in there. At some point we were going to fix the walls, we were going to change the carpet. That's already in the capital budget. You can't just say, well, now all of a sudden it magically appeared. So we've already had it referred back to staff. We've got the report. Here it is. Let's go back, put that motion or there is a motion there to issue that default notice, and 30 days from now we'll have an answer to that. Then we deal with the rest of the parts of the puzzle.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Brunton.
Well, I'm somewhat confused. When I first heard Councillor Van Passen said, we haven't notified them of the 30 days, okay? And I'm saying, well, here we are, beating this thing around for I don't know how many times. I thought we would have done that if they were in default. Anyways, I don't know where we're going, so if we're, call the questions, I guess. I just like to have the answers to some of those questions if we are going to refer it back for 30 days.
That's in the motion. It's in there.
Well, okay, is it on here? Okay.
Okay,
but
so
all I'm saying is if it gets defeated and Councillor Van Passen puts it on the board the other way, fine. I just want some.
No, well, just one sec. Councillor Michele wants to speak, and then I'm going to have something to say. So, and Councillor Columbus, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarity, procedurally, I know that a deferral supersedes a motion on the floor, but are we doing the same thing with a referral?
Good question. I had the same question myself. Clerk, can you clarify that? Does a referral supersede Councillor Van Passen's motion the same way?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as we've advised council, if we could have a break right now, we'll review the procedure bylaw and come back with recommendations for you.
Sounds good. Thank you. Take a break.
Captain Clean, the toilet paper superhero. Here to protect Norfolk County's pipes and keep everything flowing smoothly. Remember, only flush the 3 Ps: pee, poop, and toilet paper. Flushing anything else can cause big trouble. Things like wipes, hair, or grease can create sewer blockages. These blockages restrict flow, combine with other debris, and cause costly damage, overflow, and even water pollution. By sticking to the 3 Ps, you can help prevent clogs, reduce repair costs, and keep our water clean. For items you can't flush, proper disposal is key. Throw regular waste in the garbage. Do not believe claims on packaging that products are flushable. take it from Captain Clean, they are not. Household hazardous waste can be dropped off at Norfolk's temporary depots during spring and fall. For things like medication and sharps disposal, take them to your local pharmacy or the health unit. And remember, grease belongs in the trash, but let it cool and store it first. Don't pour it down the drain. Be a flushing hero like Captain Clean. Together we can protect our pipes, our homes, and the environment. Remember, only flush the 3 Ps. Norfolk County is counting on you.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm here to take you behind the scenes for a quick look at what we do at Norfolk County's water treatment facility. Here in Port Rowan, the water treatment process starts by pumping water from Lake Erie up into the water treatment facility. Back in the treatment facility, I inspect large clarification tanks where the lake water enters the plant. Here we add coagulant, a chemical that attracts dirt particles together. These form into larger particles called flock, which eventually sinks and is sent to waste. Next, the water enters the filtration system where any remaining dirt particles are trapped by the filters. The water is then chlorinated and sent into a 113 cubic meter underground storage chamber. The water is then taken to the granular activated carbon filters that work like supersized 10,000 pound Brita filters to remove taste and odor. The final step is disinfection, which includes UV and a final dose of chlorine, ensuring safe, potable drinking water. Water testing is an important part of the job. Throughout the day, we take water samples at different stages of the process, up to 9 tests, depending on the treatment facility. As a Norfolk resident myself, I'm proud to serve the community I live in. Thanks for joining me in this behind-the-scenes tour.
Norfolk County. Did you know that Ride Norfolk is now on demand? This means you can schedule Norfolk's public transit service to pick you up for appointments, shopping, school, or work. Ride Norfolk has partnered with Blaze Transit to offer on-demand pickups at all 95 stops across Norfolk, including this one. I booked my trip earlier today and my bus is here right on time. Since there are no fixed local schedules, you can easily book Ride Norfolk over the phone, online, or on the Blaze Transit app from your smartphone. Thanks, Charlie.
You're welcome.
Ride Norfolk's customer service team can help answer any questions you may have, get you started with the app, or book your next ride. By moving to on-demand, Ride Norfolk is helping more residents get where they need to go. To learn more, visit norfolkcounty.ca/transit.
Hi, I'm Marissa, and I'm here to take you behind the scenes for a quick look at what we do at Norfolk County's waste and recycling operations. Here at the transfer station in Simcoe, residents can bring a variety of waste materials for disposal. Norfolk operates 2 transfer stations, welcoming about 27,000 customers every year, and accepts material ranging from bulky items, wood, metal, and yard waste. Norfolk also provides curbside waste programs. Recycling from your home arrives at this facility where it is manually sorted by the type of material. You can see why it's important to separate materials into the correct bin, rinse recyclables, and remove items from bags. This facility processes 4,600 metric tons per year. That's equal to about 20 tons per day. Once items are sorted by material type, they are baled and ready to be shipped across North America to be made into new material. About 8 to 10% of the material that arrives here shouldn't have been put in the recycling bin. Residents can use our Recycle Coach app to confirm if an item can be recycled. After seeing how waste is handled, I hope this video helps show why rinsing and sorting your recyclables are important steps in the recycling process. As a Norfolk County employee, I am proud to serve the community I was raised in. Thanks for joining me on this behind-the-scenes tour.
This summer, discover the hidden gem of Norfolk County, Ontario's garden. Stroll through historic villages where time seems to slow down. Feel the sand between your toes on our pristine Lake Erie beaches. From live theater that captivates to trails that wind through breathtaking landscapes, adventure and relaxation await at every turn. Meet the farmers who grow your dinner and taste wine and beer crafted right here. Experience Norfolk County this summer, where small-town charm meets farm-fresh flavor. Ontario's garden. It's time you came home to it.
Hey Norfolk County, I'm Chris, and I'm here to take you behind the scenes to show you how Norfolk County manages stormwater in our towns and communities. Stormwater isn't just rain or melted snow. It's any excess water that runs off hard surfaces like roads, driveways, and rooftops. But where does that water go? And why is managing it important? Norfolk's stormwater systems include pipes, ditches, catch basins, and ponds that work together to manage this runoff. Stormwater systems like ponds slow the flow and allow dirt and pollutants to settle and release cleaner water into the environment. Without proper management, stormwater can flood basements, damage roads, and carry contaminants like oil, garbage, and salt into our rivers and lakes. That's why Norfolk County created a dedicated stormwater team in 2024 to better understand and maintain what we already have while planning for the future. This stormwater pond in Port Dover helps to reduce flooding and improve water quality. Over time, sediment and pollutants build up within storm ponds, limiting their ability to hold water. This creates an ideal environment for algae and invasive plants like Phragmites to flourish. This fast-growing species can block out the flow of water and crowd out native vegetation, reducing the habitat that local wildlife depends on. To restore this pond, we're removing the excess sediment and transporting it to a licensed site. We're also clearing invasive plants, reshaping the pond's banks, and upgrading the outlet that controls the flow of water. This work will improve water quality, allow the pond to hold more water, reduce flooding risks, and provide a healthier habitat for plants and wildlife. Stormwater management isn't just about what you see on the surface. It's also about the infrastructure underground. We use special tools to locate, map, and inspect the pipes and infrastructure that connect the ponds to the wider stormwater system. This helps us to understand how water moves through our communities and identify issues that need our attention. It's likely that you or someone that you know has been impacted by flooding, erosion, or drainage issues. All of that connects back to stormwater. Stormwater management isn't just about pipes and ponds. It's about protecting the communities and the nature that surrounds us. As Norfolk County grows, so does our responsibility to manage stormwater, and that's our job. With smart planning, hard work, and community support, we're building a cleaner, safer, and more resilient future together.
Welcome to Norfolk County, where land meets lake and opportunity grows deep and wide. Located on the north shore of Lake Erie, in the heart of southwestern Ontario, Norfolk spans 1,600 square kilometers, making us one of Ontario's largest single-tier municipalities. Our roots run deep in agriculture, food production, and advanced manufacturing, industries that shaped our past and are powering Ontario's future economy. Home to over 70,000, we are bold, diverse, and fiercely local. From Port Dover to Long Point, our folks are putting down roots, sometimes in sand, sometimes in soil, but always in a place they're proud to call home. Big land, big vision, unmatched potential. That's Norfolk.
Hey Norfolk County.
Hey Norfolk County. Hey, Norfolk County. Hey, Norfolk County.
Hey, Norfolk County.
Hey, Norfolk County.
My name is Bowden Winnicki.
My name is Lindsay Kaliokoski.
My name is Alex Ryan. I work as a park student.
I work as an economic development coordinator.
I work on the roads department in Delhi.
I work as a supervisor for waste management.
I work as a committee coordinator in the clerk's department.
Okay, what's the first question? What I love about my job is the people.
All right, what do I love about my job?
It's really the community. No day is the same.
It is because I get to work with a bunch of great guys.
It directly impacts really positively the residents of Norfolk County.
I love the people that I get a chance to work with.
Every day is different. The mix of things is what makes me happy and keeps me going.
First and foremost, the community. The people of this community are so welcoming.
Is the amazing team I get to work with every day here at Norfolk County.
Opportunity to help people, to help my community.
One of the things I love the most about my job is my team. I love who I work with and what I do while I'm here.
I get to work on projects and in programs that support our community, that help make lives better for the people who live here, who work here, and who come here to visit.
Every day you feel like you've accomplished something on the way home, and you're working with a bunch of great people who are equally as committed to the community and serving our communities.
The pace here is very good and great work-life balance.
They put wellness on the forefront, so I'm part of the Apple Committee, and there's lots of opportunity at Norfolk County.
Flexible work hours, great work-life balance, great staff, great friends, and of course, what's not to love about Norfolk County? We're Ontario's garden.
I love helping people, I love helping residents, and that's what makes Norfolk County a great place to come to work.
I chose to work for Norfolk County because I grew up in Delhi, so it's close to home, and I've enjoyed working for my community and my friends and family.
Definitely 100% the people. There are lots of community champions, and everyone's been so kind and welcoming.
Because I was born and raised here, and I wanted to help give back to my community.
I love giving back to a community that I grew up in. I love my team, and I love that I can leave a legacy here in the communities.
When I had the opportunity to come home and serve the public, I jumped at that opportunity. I started my career as an area planner for this place. It's interesting that at the end of my career, this opportunity came up to come back and make Norfolk a better place. Is being able to live and work in the community that we're a part of.
I did choose to work for Norfolk because I'm an engineer by trade, and I like to solve problems. And realized how rewarding it was to be able to contribute to initiatives within the area that I've always called home. I love it here. You should consider joining the public sector, joining the municipality, because it's so diverse. There's something for everyone. Local government is the closest to the people. We get to work with our residents day in and day out, and there is something for you in every department for Norfolk.
Hey, Norfolk County. Do you know how your property taxes are spent? Let's take a look together. First, we need to start with Norfolk County's budget. Every year, staff and council confirm the funds required to be collected from the property taxes paid by you and 35,000 other Norfolk County taxpayers. These funds contribute to Norfolk County's levy and capital budgets, which lay out how your tax dollars are used. The capital budget is also funded by the rate budget, the funds paid by residents known as ratepayers for water and wastewater services through their monthly water bill. The levy budget is used to deliver programs and services for residents ranging from emergency services like fire and EMS, waste services like garbage collection, recreation services like arenas, trails, and parks, maintenance services like snow removal and road repair, and human services like homelessness prevention and health education programs. Our levy budget also supports our libraries and museums, administrative services for council, and the many staff who keep Norfolk County operating. Services like recreation programs for children, adults, and seniors, and our Ride Norfolk Transit program are also paid for with property taxes and supplemented by user fees. And across Ontario, a portion of each resident's property tax bill goes to our local school boards. About a third of the property taxes collected are allocated to the capital budget or reserves for future capital spending, which includes other funding sources like the federal and provincial government, reserve funds, grants, debt, and development charges, as well as funds from the rate budget. Together, the capital budget goes toward longer-term projects, such as our investments in water and wastewater facilities, as well as building and renewing our parks, roadways, pools, arenas, and other things we use every day.
Okay, we're back. So thanks. So we have some clarity that a referral does supersede a motion, so that's good. We're on the right track there. However, one thing that's been sort of lost in this is we've not yet heard from the actual Lynwood board, and we do have the chair here. So if we want to hear from the Lynwood board, I would need a 2/3 majority to allow that to happen. So is there a motion from the committee to allow the Lynwood chair to speak to us? Councillor Michele, seconded by? Sure. Okay, Councillor Columbus. Okay, so I guess there's no really need to debate it or discuss it. So do we want to hear from all those in favor to amend it to allow him to speak? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's enough. And I didn't see Councillor Duthie. How did? Hey, Duthie had his hand. Okay, please come on up.
Through the chair, I'm glad to be back, and I would like to reassure you that the Lynwood board would like to wrap this up and settle things as much as you guys, or if not more strongly. I think we have a lot of common ground, that being one of them. I think you generally, I hear through all of this, support the arts, and I know that's a good thing because that's what we are all about. We all have a shared interest in a cost-effective solution, and we have a shared interest in protecting the Lynwood collection, and we have a shared interest to really get on with things and also respect our building that we are currently in. I want to talk first about the lease agreement, just so to give you an update on that, because you guys are talking around that, and maybe I can give you some information that you might find useful. We have a really unique partnership with Norfolk County, and I think what I like about that is it's worked for 52 years that we've been in business, leasing the space in one way or another. And the challenge with our lease right now, you might not be aware of, and why we have appeared to fail at fundraising, is because the lease is a 5-year term, first of all, okay? And what we've learned, and we probably didn't know this when the lease was signed, that funding organizations that are going to advance funds to you, they want you to know that you're going to be there for a while, like more than 5 years is sort of the minimum requirement to allow funding. So on that note, we were technically in default of the lease the day after we signed it back in 2024. And the other aspect about our arrangement is funders really want us to go out when we apply for a grant and bring in competitive bids. So we get competitive bids, we apply for funding, we get the money, and then we assign the work. And when you're dealing with fund requests, you never quite know if you're going to get the money. So it might take 3 months, it might take 9 months, but it doesn't align with your schedule. I mean, you really want us to have the money and then do an RFP and then assign the work. Whereas to do that, we need to go, we're not going to get all the money off of grant organizations, but that was the thinking when the lease was signed. So that's sort of a challenge. We've been talking with Norfolk County for many years, but I've been involved since last summer trying to figure out how to resolve this. And that's how we came up with these two options that we presented in my deputation. Option 1, to stay where we are and purchase the building, and option 2, to move to archives. We tried to use some creative thinking, and to date, I haven't heard any better options. There may be one to come if we defer it, but I don't know. I know there's some concerns about the collection, and I would say that the ownership of the collection is somewhat murky, but I would also say that's not relevant to this discussion, at least. We're talking about where we want to live. Whether Norfolk County owns it and we maintain it, or whether we own it and we maintain it, it's all public art. And public art in Ontario is controlled by laws. We can't sell it. We can't use it as collateral. We can't. There are processes to deaccession pieces, just like Kate was talking about with the historical pieces. But it's long-winded, it's complicated, and it has to be done carefully. And it usually means it ends up in another public art, somebody else's public art collection. It doesn't mean we sell an expensive piece to some entrepreneur who wants to hang on his living room wall. So I think that, I guess, with the collection, that was one of the concerns about option 1 that the staff report had, and I would suggest to you that that's probably not the issue. If we go forward with option 1, what it does is it allows us to control the fundraising cycle, and it also allows us to control the capital spend. Much of the stuff is all sort of coming to 2027, as I understand it from staff, because of bylaws in Ontario, which have end of life on assets. So the idea is that when you hit the end of life, you actually have to fix the thing. So you don't just leave things letting them fall into disrepair for another 5 years until the building falls apart. We've done, and in terms of a business plan and aspects of that, we've done an independent capital plan spend expenditure. There is one item that really has to be done this year, and Al talks to that. But all the other items can be spread out over the next 5 years or so, which gives us time versus you owning the building to organize our funding locally and from funding organizations and accumulate funds. And then once we have enough funds, then we do the work. If we do 5 grant requests and they all fall, and they fall through, we try other ones and we do other angles and we arrange more, maybe more focus on local. So also you might be aware, our expenditure of us doing it versus the county doing it will spend less. Okay? Lynwood is a beautiful historical building. You talk around that, and I think any aspects of us moving out is we got to keep that in mind. And Kate talked well to that, and it seems like there's concerns about us moving to the archives. It seems like there's concerns in the community about what will happen to our building if we vacate it. I guess I would like to respectfully suggest that why could we not just consider option 1 as it was originally tabled? I've got full board support for it. It's already been approved. And if we could just take that, we could settle it today. Well, of course, I need you guys to take that. And I mean, from the staff report, it had savings. As I mentioned about the capital plans and going forward, and it is a really great building. In fact, it's inherently suited for an arts center. I don't know, I struggle thinking about who else could use it as effectively as we are. But if we do option 1, it gets it off your books. It does have a certain amount of costs up front to you as it's outlined, but there are no future costs in terms of capital repairs, and there's no future risk. I could say the roof is good for 3 or 4 years, but it could break tomorrow. I know that. So we'll be like the homeowners, and you will not be. So that's really all I wanted to suggest. Could we consider option 1 today? And I don't know if you have any questions.
Well, thanks, Paul. I mean, yes, we can consider option 1. Okay. It's in the report. So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, yes. Could you just hit the mic before you? Oh, sorry. Thanks. Okay, thanks very much for that. I appreciate it. Okay, so when we left off, we are in the midst of, I guess, debating the motion to refer. We needed some clarity So that is still the motion on the table. We can't do anything with Councillor Van Passen's previous motion until we settle that one. So we were in the middle of debate, so I suppose we're going to go back to that. If there's any further debate on the motion to refer the decision, can we... Oh, Councillor Duthie, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I apologize, I didn't want to interrupt, but is it possible to ask a question of Mr. Hammond?
Yes, if he doesn't mind, sure.
Through the chair, I'm ready.
Thank you. Yep, thank you. Through you. I want to confirm the will of the board at Lynwood, specifically on its desired home. In that, a few weeks ago when you were with us, you had suggested at that point, and I did go back and double check because I wanted to make sure I heard it right, that your board was unanimous that they wanted to move to the Eva Brook building. And now today, I'm hearing it's somewhat different and you want option one. So I just want to confirm, what is the will of your board, and is that in writing somewhere? Because I don't want to later end up in a situation where that wasn't the case, or this person said this and this person said the other, and we went down a path that wasn't fully supported. So is there documentation to suggest the position of the Lynwood board today?
Sure, that's a good question. So through the chair, I'll answer that. As I said, we've started and been working through since last summer on options. And in January, we sort of came to fruition with two possible options. My experience dealing with a municipality here is that you present these. We presented these options because we didn't know which one would be most acceptable to Norfolk County. So we presented both options, and both of them had board support. So last month, when the staff recommendation was option 2, we did support it. Our preferred option, though, all along has been option 1 to stay at Lynwood.
Councillor Duthie, is that clear?
So well, yes, sort of, if I can just drive this point home further. There is a motion somewhere in your minutes that suggests that your board fully supports either option 1 or option 2 that's contained in the Norfolk County staff report related to 21 Lynwood Ave.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions since we have him back up, Mr. Hammond back up here, or Hammond? Yeah. Anyways, okay. Back to the debate on the referral, I suppose. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to that before I call the vote on the referral? That's what I said, referral. No. Yeah, so Councillor Brutton's asking for it to be back on the screen, so let's take a look. Okay, so there it is. So before we, I'm going to just say my piece here because I haven't had a chance to do that yet. So I'm not going to support the referral for a couple of reasons. One is that we can give them the same 30 days if we just issue the letter. So if we do the referral, it's another 30 days and then 30 days of issuing the letter. So it's 60 days. But apart from that, it's not just about the gallery, it's about the building itself, right? We're not saying we want to end the gallery if we move to option 1 or 2. We're saying that there's a capital cost. Norfolk County has a $30 million capital deficit over the next 10 years, and that is exactly what is causing that 2.5% automatic increase in taxes. If we didn't have this massive capital deficit, we would have had an increase this year of 3%, not 5.5%. So we can knock $1 million off that $30 million right now. Separating the gallery from the building is also an opportunity to look at new or more suitable gallery space or other options in the future. If we continue to tether the gallery to that building, there's not going to be any advancement on that concept either. And so that's a concern for me. So this isn't, to me, about an art decision, it's about a renovation decision. I want to make a point here that the 1.2 million that's projected over the next 10 years, that doesn't make Lynwood right as rain. That just keeps it operable. There's going to be other costs that go into this, and so that's a concern as well. We've spent over $200,000 already this term, either with operating subsidy and different subsidies. We've just heard from the chair that they've been working on options since next summer. I don't see what another 30-day deferral will do. So to me, this is about finances, and it's about the best use of our dollars. 1.2 million into this could be spent in any number of ways to support arts in a different way. Right now, that's 100% of our budget is just keeping the building open. So on that note, I will call the question on the referral. All those in favor of referring this decision for another 30 days? And opposed? Okay, so the referral is defeated. So does that automatically put Councillor Van Passen's motion back on the table? Okay, so we're back to, can we see that one again, please? And we're open debate again on Councillor Van Passen's motion. Which was, where is it? Oh, sorry. Okay, thanks. Okay, so this is where okay, so issue notice of default. Okay. So I have a question then, since I haven't had a chance to ask questions. So if we issue this letter of default, how is that default remedied? Because the agreement was that the board was responsible for 60% of the required funding, correct? So are we saying that they have 30 days to come up with 60% of the required funding? Is that what the remedy is, or is there another, what does that mean?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I would interpret that as to say there's, I think it was $220,000 or $250,000. I think it's $220,000 required before the end of this year to repair the foundation. And so based on the lease obligations, the board would have to come up with their portion to complete the work. And I'm not sure, I think we heard from the chair that they've been unsuccessful in raising those required capital funds. So I would suspect that this is giving them 30 days to raise that funds or commit to providing us those funds. Okay. And if not, then we will take action to move forward.
Okay, so if I have that correct math-wise, based on the 220,000, we're talking about 132,000, is that correct, in 30 days?
60% of that. Yep.
Okay, so 60%, yep. So that's where we're at. So, okay, I just want to put that out there, that's what we're talking about, yeah, it's huge. Okay, that was for my questions on that before we continue. So is there any more debate on that? Oh, yeah. I wasn't going to call the question. I want to know if there's any more debate.
No, just technically it is 6 weeks, right? Because it has to go from here to council, so they've actually going to have 6 weeks to come up with that, right?
Fair enough. Okay, good call. So 6 weeks to raise the 132,000. Yep. Okay, so is there any more debate on this motion before I call the question on this one? Okay, seeing none, then all those in favor of issuing the default notice? And that's, pardon? And Duthie's also a yes? Okay, that's carried. Thank you very much. And thanks for coming today to the board there. Okay. Moving on to the next, we have no motions, no notices of motion. We have no other business, unless we do have other business, it doesn't say. Is there any other business? Are we seeing any announcements, or do we have any announcements today? Councillor Columbus, please go ahead.
Just to mention that the minor hockey under 11 won the All-Ontario Championship, OMHA Championship.
Congratulations, that's great news for hockey in Norfolk County. Tremendous. Any other announcements? Okay, then with that, we do have a late closed session. We have 2 late closed session items today. Can I have a mover for the following motion, which is that committee enter closed session at 3:13 p.m. to discuss an item pursuant to section 239(2)E of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended as the subject matter pertains to E, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. Moved by. Oh, okay. Well, then put it in green for now. Okay, 13.1 litigation update regarding Warren Cummings, and 13.2 litigation update regarding judicial review, Jennifer Dundas, Becker, Puller, Pavilion. Moved by Councillor Van Pass and seconded by Councillor Huffman. All those in favor? Very good. Carried. Away we go.
So the next time you hear someone ask, "Where are my property taxes going?" you can tell them to look down, look up, and look forward. Your tax dollars are at work all around you every day. When you visit your local park with your family, drive to work on cleared roads, register for swimming lessons, get rid of that old couch you've outgrown, or contact Service Norfolk about that pothole on your street that needs to be fixed. Your tax dollars are also being invested in initiatives to improve the lives of Norfolk County residents in the years to come to make Norfolk County a better place for future generations. While Norfolk County's budget is prepared once a year, your feedback helps us make decisions and plan for the future. We are committed to listening to you so that our budget reflects what is important to our community. Learn more about Norfolk County's budget at norfolkcounty.ca/budget.
Today we're announcing an exciting partnership with Scotland and Norfolk County Economic Development, and we're transforming transport trailers into mobile ambassadors. We're showcasing Norfolk's story of opportunity, excellence, and quality of life across all of North America, and Scotland is the ideal partner with an amazing logistics network and will help us share our story all across North America.
Hi, I'm Jacob, and I'm here to take you behind the scenes on a capital project in Norfolk County. We begin planning capital projects by analyzing our infrastructure needs related to roads, water mains, storm and sanitary sewers, as well as bridges. We assess their overall condition, age, and servicing requirements. This provides a solid foundation to ensure Norfolk has the hard infrastructure for current and future needs. Once a project is determined and approved by Council, we retain an engineer to complete the design. During this stage, we engage the public through public information centers or postings on the county website to inform them of the upcoming project and provide an opportunity to share feedback. After the design is completed and all approvals are in place, we hire a contractor through a public bidding process. During the construction phase, we track progress, budget, and continue to engage with the public. We also work with other departments to ensure the overall success of the project. Once complete, we report and track any warranty issues for 2 years. We measure a project's success by its ability to enhance infrastructure and positively impact residents. As a Norfolk County employee, I enjoy building the community that has given me so much. Thank you for taking the time to join me on this behind-the-scenes tour.
Deputations are a way for you and all residents of Norfolk County to speak before council about relevant matters in our community. To begin, search www.norfolkcounty.ca. Then select the Government tab. Under the Government tab, select Provide Deputation / Speak at a Council or Committee Meeting. This page provides general information regarding deputations. Under the subheading Register to Speak, click the Public Hearing / Deputation Form link to pre-register your deputation. Notice of Collection. By checking the Notice of Collection box, you are agreeing to the above statement. Selecting the type of meeting you want. There are several types of meetings that allow deputations. Please listen closely as we explain each option. Council meeting. Council deputations must pertain to a matter listed on the upcoming meeting agenda. For the remaining meeting choices, you may present a deputation if the topic pertains to the committee you are presenting to. Once you select the type of meeting you want to deliver your deputation, you can complete the rest of the document. Now choose whether you will attend the meeting in person or virtually. Finally, select if you will be providing materials during your deputation. If you have materials for distribution during the council meeting, please bring 15 hard copies for council and staff. Now click Next to move to Step 2. In Step 2, please fill out your personal information. Once your personal information is completed, click Next. Lastly, review your information and select Next to submit your form. You have now completed the deputation request form. You will receive a confirmation email from the Clerk's Department that they've received your request. Next, we will talk about what to do on the day of your deputation.
So, you've received your approval and the day of your deputation is upon you. For starters, council is located here, at 50 Colburn Street. Now there's two entrances you can use when you arrive. One is here, located off Colburn, and one located off Talbot Street. When you arrive, you'll have three main options to park. The first is to park at the Simcoe Town Center Mall, which is where Food Basics is located. Your second option is 2-hour street parking on Court Street. And your third option is 2-hour street parking on Lodge Street. If you can't find any parking in any of those three options, don't worry. Downtown Simcoe has plenty of street parking in all of the surrounding areas. If you enter through the Colburn Street doors, you'll have to make your way through the building to get to council chambers. But don't worry, if you require any assistance, you can feel free to ask Service Norfolk at the front desk. Make your way along this path and you'll end up in the main lobby. To your left, there'll be an elevator. You can either ring the bell or go ask the people at the front desk for assistance. If you don't need to use the elevator, you can head on up the green staircase and go up to council chambers. If you enter through the Talbot Street doors, the elevator will be immediately in front of you, or the green staircase will be ready for you to go up and deliver your presentation. Once you reach the top of the stairs, you'll have made it to council chambers. Feel free to take a seat here or here and wait for council to call your name when it's time to present. When council calls your name, make your way to the podium and ensure that you don't walk between the railing and the chairs on your way there. When you arrive at the podium, adjust it to your desired height using the arrow buttons and turn the microphone on using the button on the right. If you're giving your deputation in front of council, begin by saying, through the mayor. If you're giving it in front of a committee, begin by saying, through the chair. Then, clearly state your name and address, and you'll have 5 minutes to give your presentation. Upon having 1 minute remaining, the chair will give you notice. When you're finished your presentation, council may have questions for you. Ensure that you always begin your answer by saying, through the mayor, or through the chair to councilor, and their last name. If you can't answer the question, that's okay. Inform council that you'll gather more information and get back to them. After that, council will have heard out what you've had to say, and they'll take appropriate action as they deem necessary. And now, you've finished your deputation. You can either have a seat and watch the rest of the meeting, or you can leave through the door that you came in and ensure that you leave as quietly as possible.
Hey Norfolk County, my name is Anna and I'm here to share some water safety tips to keep you and your family safe around the water. Knowing how to swim is a life skill and an essential part of staying safe and having fun. Swimming lessons are the best way to learn essential swim survival skills to recover from a fall into deep water.
Think you're too old for lessons? There are programs designed for teens and adults as well. With so many lakes and rivers, Canadians of all ages are avid boaters. Always wear a life jacket, it could save your life. Never swim alone, regardless of age and skill level. Always swim with a buddy. A buddy can throw you a buoyant aid if you get into trouble. When possible, wade into unknown waters to prevent injury. Backyard pools are a great place to make family memories. But remember, if you are not within arm's reach of your child in and around the water, then you've gone too far. Drowning can occur in as little as 10 seconds and it is silent. Every drowning death is preventable. Take time to educate yourself and those around you to ensure you're staying safe and having fun around the water. For more information, visit norfolkcounty.ca/watersafety.
We all have the right to feel safe at work, when spending time with friends and family, when participating in activities or attending a public meeting or event. Norfolk County is committed to ensuring our spaces and workplaces are safe. Our respect and responsibility policy outlines the code of conduct for employees, patrons, contractors, volunteers, coaches, and spectators. This code of conduct also applies to phone calls, emails, and virtual and social media platforms. We all play a part in fostering a respectful and safe environment. Inappropriate behaviors such as swearing, name-calling, verbal and physical threats, physical violence, harassment, and vandalism will not be tolerated. Staff have the right to take action when incidents occur. This may include denying service, asking individuals to leave, contacting the police, or, if necessary, suspending them from county programs and facilities. Those responsible for damaging county property will be required to cover the cost of repairs, fees, and lost revenues. We are committed to providing high-quality customer service and a safe and respectful environment for all. For more information about our respect and responsibility policy, visit norfolkcounty.ca/RNR.
Hi, I'm Lisa, and I'm excited to take you behind the scenes to meet Norfolk County's aquatics team in action.
I think the people are what make the job. I think working with the people that I do, we're a great team. We work really well together. That makes a positive work environment. That makes a positive work for the public as well. They see that we work well together, and I think that benefits them as well.
I still love coming here every day. It's an exciting job. It's always different. You're always doing new things.
Being part of our team offers staff the opportunity to develop essential skills in lifeguarding, teaching swimming lessons, customer service, first aid, and of course, teamwork.
I think swimming in general is a really great skill to have from a very young age, so being a part of children learning how to swim is super important to me.
It's a really rewarding process to see them go from not the greatest swimmer to a better or great swimmer. It's a really good stepping stone to what I want to do in the future.
It's just a nice variety, and everybody brings something different and special to the team.
Our aquatics team is dedicated to educating the community on water safety and drowning prevention.
You might be a quiet student coming in, and this job is really going to push you to find your voice and be like an impactful member of a team.
I love that it's different every day, and you get to meet new people every day and see some of the same faces every day as well. But my job is different every single day. I don't do the same, so it's amazing.
As a proud Norfolk County employee, I'm honored to be part of a team delivering life-saving skills to our community. Thank you for joining me on this behind-the-scenes tour. I hope this video gives you a glimpse of what it's like to be part of our aquatics team. If you're interested in taking advanced leadership courses to become a lifeguard and instructor, visit norfolkcounty.ca.
Hey Norfolk County! Whether you're a longtime resident, new to the area, or simply visiting, do you know about the many services provided by Norfolk County? As a single-tier municipality, We provide services that our community uses every day, including water and fire protection, curbside garbage and recycling, road and sidewalk maintenance, and so much more. We also provide services needed at unique times in life, such as a marriage or business license, or a dog tag for your new companion. And the unique geographic features in Norfolk County, from farmland and forests to lakes and wetlands, means we also provide specialized services ranging from drainage applications to tree inspections. Wondering how to contact Norfolk County? Start with Service Norfolk. Our friendly team of agents is here to help. Reach us by phone at 519-426-5870 or 226-NORFOLK from 8:30 to 4:30, Monday to Friday. Calling about an issue after hours? No problem. We have you covered. Prefer online? Email askus@norfolkcounty.ca anytime, or use our customer service portal at service.norfolkcounty.ca and get a reply right to your email inbox. Want to visit us in person? Come to one of our friendly customer service counters in Simcoe, Monday to Friday, or Delhi, Tuesday to Thursday. Service Norfolk, connecting you to Norfolk County services.
Meet Captain Clean, the toilet paper superhero, here to protect Norfolk County's pipes and keep everything flowing smoothly. Remember, only flush the 3 Ps: pee, poop, and toilet paper. Flushing anything else can cause big trouble. Things like wipes, hair, or grease can create sewer blockages. These blockages restrict flow, combine with other debris, and cause costly damage, overflow, and even water pollution. By sticking to the 3 Ps, you can help prevent clogs, reduce repair costs, and keep our water clean. For items you can't flush, proper disposal is key. Throw regular waste in the garbage. Do not believe claims on packaging that products are flushable. Take it from Captain Clean, they are not. Household hazardous waste can be dropped off at Norfolk's temporary depots during spring and fall. For things like medication and sharps disposal, take them to your local pharmacy or the health unit. And remember, grease belongs in the trash, but let it cool and store it first. Don't pour it down the drain. Be a flushing hero like Captain Clean. Together we can protect our pipes, our homes, and the environment. Remember, only flush the 3 Ps. Norfolk County is counting on you.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm here to take you behind the scenes for a quick look at what we do at Norfolk County's water treatment facility. Here in Port Rowan, the water treatment process starts by pumping water from Lake Erie up into the water treatment facility. Back in the treatment facility, I inspect large clarification tanks where the lake water enters the plant. Here we add coagulant, a chemical that attracts dirt particles together. These form into larger particles called flock, which eventually sinks and is sent to waste. Next, the water enters the filtration system where any remaining dirt particles are trapped by the filters. The water is then chlorinated and sent into a 113 cubic meter underground storage chamber. The water is then taken to the granular activated carbon filters that work like supersized 10,000 pound Brita filters to remove taste and odor. The final step is disinfection, which includes UV and a final dose of chlorine, ensuring safe, potable drinking water. Water testing is an important part of the job. Throughout the day, we take water samples at different stages of the process, up to 9 tests, depending on the treatment facility. As a Norfolk resident myself, I'm proud to serve the community I live in. Thanks for joining me in this behind-the-scenes tour.
Norfolk County. Did you know that Ride Norfolk is now on demand? This means you can schedule Norfolk's public transit service to pick you up for appointments, shopping, school, or work. Ride Norfolk has partnered with Blaze Transit to offer on-demand pickups at all 95 stops across Norfolk, including this one. I booked my trip earlier today and my bus is here right on time. Since there are no fixed local schedules, you can easily book Ride Norfolk over the phone, online, or on the Blaze Transit app from your smartphone. Thanks, Charlie.
You're welcome.
Ride Norfolk's customer service team can help answer any questions you may have, get you started with the app, or book your next ride. By moving to on-demand, Ride Norfolk is helping more residents get where they need to go. To learn more, visit norfolkcounty.ca/transit.
Hi, I'm Marissa, and I'm here to take you behind the scenes for a quick look at what we do at Norfolk County's waste and recycling operations. Here at the transfer station in Simcoe, residents can bring a variety of waste materials for disposal. Norfolk operates 2 transfer stations, welcoming about 27,000 customers every year, and accepts material ranging from bulky items, wood, metal, and yard waste. Norfolk also provides curbside waste programs. Recycling from your home arrives at this facility where it is manually sorted by the type of material. You can see why it's important to separate materials into the correct bin, rinse recyclables, and remove items from bags. This facility processes 4,600 metric tons per year. That's equal to about 20 tons per day. Once items are sorted by material type, they are baled and ready to be shipped across North America to be made into new material. About 8 to 10% of the material that arrives here shouldn't have been put in the recycling bin. Residents can use our Recycle Coach app to confirm if an item can be recycled. After seeing how waste is handled, I hope this video helps show why rinsing and sorting your recyclables are important steps in the recycling process. As a Norfolk County employee, I am proud to serve the community I was raised in. Thanks for joining me on this behind-the-scenes tour.
This summer, discover the hidden gem of Norfolk County, Ontario's garden. Stroll through historic villages where time seems to slow down. Feel the sand between your toes on our pristine Lake Erie beaches. From live theater that captivates to trails that wind through breathtaking landscapes, adventure and relaxation await at every turn. Meet the farmers who grow your dinner and taste wine and beer crafted right here. Experience Norfolk County this summer, where small-town charm meets farm-fresh flavor. Ontario's garden. It's time you came home to it.
Hey Norfolk County, I'm Chris, and I'm here to take you behind the scenes to show you how Norfolk County manages stormwater in our towns and communities. Stormwater isn't just rain or melted snow. It's any excess water that runs off hard surfaces like roads, driveways, and rooftops. But where does that water go? And why is managing it important? Norfolk's stormwater systems include pipes, ditches, catch basins, and ponds that work together to manage this runoff. Stormwater systems like ponds slow the flow and allow dirt and pollutants to settle and release cleaner water into the environment. Without proper management, stormwater can flood basements, damage roads, and carry contaminants like oil, garbage, and salt into our rivers and lakes. That's why Norfolk County created a dedicated stormwater team in 2024 to better understand and maintain what we already have while planning for the future. This stormwater pond in Port Dover helps to reduce flooding and improve water quality. Over time, sediment and pollutants build up within storm ponds, limiting their ability to hold water. This creates an ideal environment for algae and invasive plants like Phragmites to flourish. This fast-growing species can block out the flow of water and crowd out native vegetation, reducing the habitat that local wildlife depends on. To restore this pond, we're removing the excess sediment and transporting it to a licensed site. We're also clearing invasive plants, reshaping the pond's banks, and upgrading the outlet that controls the flow of water. This work will improve water quality, allow the pond to hold more water, reduce flooding risks, and provide a healthier habitat for plants and wildlife. Stormwater management isn't just about what you see on the surface. It's also about the infrastructure underground. We use special tools to locate, map, and inspect the pipes and infrastructure that connect the ponds to the wider stormwater system. This helps us to understand how water moves through our communities and identify issues that need our attention. It's likely that you or someone that you know has been impacted by flooding, erosion, or drainage issues. All of that connects back to stormwater. Stormwater management isn't just about pipes and ponds. It's about protecting the communities and the nature that surrounds us. As Norfolk County grows, so does our responsibility to manage stormwater, and that's our job. With smart planning, hard work, and community support, we're building a cleaner, safer, and more resilient future together.
Welcome to Norfolk County, where land meets lake and opportunity grows deep and wide. Located on the north shore of Lake Erie, in the heart of southwestern Ontario, Norfolk spans 1,600 square kilometers, making us one of Ontario's largest single-tier municipalities. Our roots run deep in agriculture, food production, and advanced manufacturing, industries that shaped our past and are powering Ontario's future economy. Home to over 70,000, we are bold, diverse, and fiercely local. From Port Dover to Long Point, our folks are putting down roots, sometimes in sand, sometimes in soil, but always in a place they're proud to call home. Big land, big vision, unmatched potential. That's Norfolk.
Hey, Norfolk County.
Hey, Norfolk County.
Hey, Norfolk County. Hey, Norfolk County.
Hey, Norfolk County.
Hey, Norfolk County.
My name is Bowden Winicki.
My name is Lindsay Kaliakowski.
My name is Alex Ryan. I work as a park student.
I work as an economic development coordinator.
I work on the roads department in Delhi.
I work as a supervisor for waste management.
I work as a committee coordinator in the clerk's department.
Okay, what's the first question? What I love about my job is the people.
All right, what do I love about my job?
It's really the community. No day is the same.
It is because I get to work with a bunch of great guys.
It directly impacts really positively the residents of Norfolk County.
I love the people that
Okay, we're back. Can we ask, okay, so I'm going to get the motion to reconvene, please, at 3:42. Councillor Brunton, seconded by Councillor Columbus. All those in favor? All right. I ask the clerk to read the motion from closed session for each item.
Thank you. That closed session items 13.1, litigation update regarding Warren Cummings, direction was provided, and item 13.2, litigation update regarding the judicial review was received for information.
So we have a recommendation that they receive information. Do I have a mover? Councillor Huffman, seconded by Councillor Van Den Driesch. Okay, all those in favor? Carried. With that, we're through. So we have a motion to adjourn. Councillor Huffman, seconded by Councillor Michele. All those in favor? Okay, great job. Thanks, everybody.